Hey everybody, this is AYG's Alpha Team, here with another video for the Division. This is going to be the video for my AlphaBridge build for 1.6.1. Let's go ahead and just get right in it. Now it's going to be a 4-part AlphaBridge with 1 exotic and 1 high-end. And it's not like your other AlphaBridge builds, this one's actually going to be spec'd for electronics. We're running SMGs as our main weapons, but let's go ahead and get in it. Start right here with Barrett's bulletproof chest piece. This is going to be our only piece that's stamina. 1245 stamina, roll for health, health on kill, and increased kill XP. Now ideally you want skill haste instead of health on kill, and you also probably would want ammo capacity instead of increased kill XP. But we're running with this because we want to get as much skill power as we can out of this build. Also, we are going to be using a lot of firearms. Even though our firearms is only 3,800, we're going to be maximizing that with a pulse, which we'll go over later. And all of our mods are going to be electronics and skill haste. This is one of those occasions where skill haste is going to be more beneficial than the actual skill power. So we're going to go electronics skill haste with all of our mods. Next up, we're going with the AlphaBridge mask. This is going to be rolled for firearms. High as armor as you can get to 1001. Skill power and increased kill XP. You can get that increased kill XP to be something else, like damage to elites, I guess, if you want to go that, or maybe burn resistance. You can. And before I forget, let's go over the AlphaBridge specs. 2-part AlphaBridge is 100% health regen. Set bonus 3 is 5% weapon damage. And then set bonus 4. If your primary and secondary weapon is of the same category, they share the free talent. All talent requirements are ignored for all weapon talents. So what that means is, let's say you need to have, you know, like 4,700 stamina to unlock a certain talent. If you have a 4-part AlphaBridge, you don't have to worry about having that much stamina. You automatically get all your talents unlocked, and then your weapons share the free talent. So just in case there was any confusion for that. Again, this is our firearms. One piece that's going to be firearms. And again, electronic skill haste. Down to the knee pads. Now, the knee pads, we had the option to roll for skill power or health for the major attribute. We went with health because we want to have a little bit of toughness. We want to be around 300,000 for this particular build. And we've got disrupt, disorient, and burn. Ideally, you'd probably want burn and shock. And bleed resistance probably be the most ideal. And like I said, this one's rolled for electronics. And all of our performance sides are going to be first aid, self heal. Now we tried a bunch of options with this, but the self heal is going to give us the best for our total offense, pretty much. And again, electronic skill haste. Backpack. Now, traditionally with all the builds that we do, we have a high-end backpack, but this particular one, we needed to get a little bit more something out of the rest of our armor, so that's what we're going with a regular AlphaBridge rucksack. Rolled for electronics and skill power. We could have rolled health here, but again, we kind of want to get some more skill power out of this build, and since we're already at 300,000 toughness, we're going to stay right here with the skill power. Bleed resistance, you can go with any other resistance here too, or ammo capacity. Bleed's good. I probably would prefer burn, but we're going to go with bleed. And again, our mods are electronic skill haste and first aid self heal. Now the high-end piece we have rolled for electronics is going to be a set of savage gloves. Critical hit chances increased by 7% against targets out of cover. We're also rolling for skill haste, SMG damage, and crit damage. We're going with SMG damage because we're using SMGs, obviously. Skill haste because we're relying a lot on our skills. And crit hit damage because we're using a pulse and we need to get our crit hit damage as high as possible. Again, we'll go over that in a second. Lastly, on our gear is going to be the holster. You want to get above 1250s across the board, ideally. And for this particular one, we already had it rolled for health, which was good. So we rolled it out for as max firearms as that we could get. The electronics was already pretty good. Stamina was a little low, but it was enough to unlock our stamina at 38, 32, which was good for us. And again, we just wanted to be around 300,000 toughness anyway. We have a roll for health. You can go skill haste here, but we just wanted to, again, be a little bit over 300,000, so we kept it with health. And our mod, of course, is first aid self-heal. Now let's go to the weapons. I switched between 3 different weapons. We're going with the PP-19, the MP5, and I did give, just for sake of argument, I did give the MP7 a try, which actually wasn't too bad. But I prefer the PP-19 and the Navy MP5. Now the PP-19 is a slower shooting SMG, but it does have a bigger mag. So it gives us that lasting fire. But as you can see, actually, let's go over the talents. The talents are deadly, self-preserved, hurried. This self-preserved could be something else like responsive or unforgiving. And since we're doing the 4-piece AlphaBridge, we actually get the free talent from the Navy MP5 that we're using, which is vicious. Critical hit chance decreased by 10% when having 2 more segments of health. But we are speccing all as much as we can on both of our weapons for crit hit damage. 19% on both pieces except for the mag, which we went with extended, and the 4% crit damage in that with a better rate of fire. And Navy MP5. Deadly, competent, vicious. Competent because we will be using at least 1 skill at all times. And since the PP-19's free talent was hurried, this Navy MP5 comes with hurried as well. You know, carrying over from the PP-19. All these mods are going to be for crit damage as well. And to go over the crit damage, we want to get our crit damage as high as possible because we're going to be using a pulse. Now this is where our damage output is going to get maxed. Now I understand that most people that use AlphaBridge want to run as high as firearms as possible, but because we're using pulse and because we're using SMGs, our crit hit damage is going to hit the 50% cap in last stand, and it's going to exceed that anywhere else. So we're going to be doing more damage overall almost all the time. Now in comparison, when I actually ran the numbers, using this pulse with those SMGs is the equivalent of using 7,900 firearms with just a basic SMG with no pulse. So with this particular pulse, which we are going to use the recon pack mainly, we're going to get 30.3% crit hit chance boost, the same with the crit hit damage. Now we're going with pulse because we're using an AlphaBridge build and we want to be effective in every gunfight we come across. And we're using SMGs so we can get the most crit hit chance out of the weapons we're using. Now the reason, I know you might be thinking like, why would you care so much about pushing that hard when you can just have more firearms? Well, because we're speccing for electronics because we want this heal. We're going to use the first aid heal with overdose, which gives us 290 hit points, 290,000 hit points of self-heal. So it's pretty much almost a full bar of health, like a full life of health every time you use it. Now it's like just having another life pretty much. And this is why we spec'd into electronics, is because we want this as high as possible. Now this not only now with the pulse and the heal, not only do we get tremendous firearms with that pulse and all that crit hit chance and crit damage, but we also get a really beneficial heal as well. So instead of just popping a heal and getting like a quarter of your life back, we're getting full life, and if we have even a little bit left, we're going to be getting overdose as well. And that's why we're running the electronics on this AlphaBridge build, and that's why we're running electronics build in general. That's also why we're running pulse. We're going to be utilizing our electronics to complement our firearms. Now, because we're doing that, we don't have to have 8,000, 9,000 firearms. We can get by with just 3,800 and still be devastating, which you'll see in the gameplay. And as always, we're going with Recovery Link. Talents, we're going with Triage. Heal and ally with skills reduce skill cooldowns by 15%, which we'll be doing frequently. Critical save, using to make it during low health, increases damage resistance by 20%, which will help us a lot. Combat Medic, Heal members and proxies within 20 meters by 40%, which is always good. And strike back. Reach full health to reduce active skill cooldowns by 20%. We want that first aid heal as much as possible. This setup is going to give us that very well, very frequently. Now, there are other things you can go with if you want to improve your firearms setup. You know, you can go with steady hands, on the move. If you're worried about your ammo, you can go one is none. If you want a better lineup for your heals, you can go with the adrenaline to kind of get more out of those med packs you're going to be using. But this is what we're going to use because this works for us. Now let's go over our attributes. Firearms, ammo, electronics, normal. So weapon damage, 15,000. Critical hit chance, 32.5% with our secondary weapon, which is our Navy MP5. And we're at 117 crit hit damage. So let's say our bullets do 15%, 15,000 damage per shot. We're doing 110% for that. So we're doing over 30,000 per shot because of our crit hit chance, with our crit hit chance being over 50. So we're almost doubling our weapon output, weapon damage output. So don't pay too much attention to these the primary and secondary DPS, which is okay. I mean, they're okay, but you gotta realize with your critical hit chance going up with that pulse, you're going to be doing a lot more devastating damage than what's being shown here. Headshot damage is okay. Accuracy, stability, range. Reload time you can ignore because we have hurried on both of our weapons. So we'll be doing it less than a second every time because of all the crit damage, all the crit chances we'll be getting. We also have that weapon damage bonus from the AlphaBridge build. And the bonus to SMG damage. A little bit of health and kill. Not really that big a deal. Threat's not really that big a deal either. Skill power is pretty good. Our skill haste is 23%, which is pretty good. And it's for what we're using since we're concentrating mainly on shooting rather than using skills to attack. Our skills are mainly to support. So that skill haste is pretty good. We got decent toughness. Armor's over 32%, which is good. Health regen is at 20,000, which is phenomenal. What else we got? Protections. We got a small bleed resistance, but that's okay. Decent burn, decent disorient, decent disrupt. The rest of these are irrelevant. So, without further ado, let's get into that gameplay and we can give you a few tips on what to do with this build. Tip number one, don't forget to use that pulse. Now, the reason you don't want to forget is because we built everything around this pulse and this heal. So the pulse is what's going to give us that crazy firearms damage, crazy DPS. So right here, try and get ahead of these guys, get one down. Now I got to put some more hurt on this guy, hit the pulse, light him up. You can see the damage is significantly more than, just the yellow writing is more than the white writing. That's all you got to know. Now here's an example where I use the pulse and where I don't use the pulse. Right here, this guy tries running away. I hit the pulse, come around, take him down, take him out. And now on this next part, I have my pulse ready. Start laying this guy up, but then you can see that how much less damage I'm doing. I can't even take him down with one mag. I don't even think to use the pulse, but it would have been super effective if I just would have taken the time to use it. Could have taken him out super quick. That's why you got to remember that pulse. Next tip, you got one job. Just like with any other firearms build or any weapon-centric build, you are supposed to kill people. Your only job is to take people out. So you got to push to where the action is. You got to be right in everybody's face. You shoot guys, you hit pulses. You just take people down. There's going to be a ton of scenarios where it's just going to be you and one other person, or it's going to be like this. It's going to be you and like 5 other people. Just got to keep pushing, keep bullets on people. Your only job, try to avoid the axe guys like this guy. This axe guy hits me 4 times. ridiculous. But now I gotta get back in the fight. Avoid these ads. Push right in these guys. And start laying down the heat. Teammate goes down. This is where the recovery lead comes in. Pick him right up. Smash these other guys. Job done. Yeah, you gotta stay in their face, which brings me to our next tip. Is you can and you should run point. You're the one that's gonna have the better pulse, you're the one that's gonna have a decent heal. You need to be out in front, laying down the bullets on these guys, being the biggest target you can, so you can help out your teammates as much as possible. Always try and stay in front, because you're going to be doing some significant damage. So even if you don't get the kill, you'll be the guy putting the heat on this guy, putting all the hate down. You see right there, I didn't kill either of those guys, but I definitely put in the bullets to help bring them down. You're just pretty much just running hero mode. Your job is to get out in front, put bullets on people. Right here again, you can see team versus team, but we need to be as effective as possible. So we need our firepower up front, putting down the hate, lighting these guys up.
Charlie's neutral.
Being aware of my hits, my hit points. Not letting anyone behind you. Getting this guy out on the flank. Power's getting low. Hit that heal. You can see right here. Bam. Full overhit. Let's keep moving forward. Take out the rest of this team. I'm gonna let the rest of these run out, except for this one. This one's hilarious. Up the rope. Take my time. One guy. Light him up. He's down. Job here's done. I'm out. That's kind of my version of clapping people up or teabagging. It's just not finishing them. Just letting them know, hey, guess what? You're down. I don't have to hurt you anymore. But yeah, I'm gonna let these play out. I'll see you guys at the end.
Just hit 50%. Bravo's neutral. Charlie, your spawn relay is active. Bravo's neutral. Now control Charlie. This has gotten out of hand. Charlie is neutral. Mercy rule protocol in effect.
That is our AlphaBridge build. A little unorthodox with that electronics instead, but still super effective. But thanks for watching, guys. Go ahead and leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more from RUGaming.com. Also, shoot us a comment if you have any questions or you want to give us any feedback. It's always appreciated. Until then, go ahead. Game on.
Game on! Yeah, game on!